There is a unique sense of relief that arrives when you stop trying to manage every detail of life. The moment you release your grip on endless worries, uncertainties, and imagined worst-case scenarios, something begins to change. Life feels lighter. The constant tension starts to fade. Worry often acts like an invisible prison. It traps you inside a future that has not happened and may never happen, draining the peace, confidence, and resilience that already exist within you. But when you choose to trust life's natural unfolding instead of fighting against it, a remarkable transformation takes place. The resistance softens, and life seems to flow more effortlessly. In this video, we'll explore 7 timeless lessons inspired by Buddhist wisdom's simple, yet deeply meaningful teachings that can help you free yourself from worry and reconnect with the inner peace that has been available to you all along. Lesson 1. Fear grows wherever it is fed. According to Buddhist teachings, the state of your inner world shapes the way you experience the outer world. Fear is more than a feeling. It becomes a filter through which you interpret reality. When that filter dominates your thinking, everything can appear more threatening than it truly is. One of the strange things about fear is that it often encourages the very outcomes we hope to avoid. When we become consumed by a particular fear, we begin behaving as though it has already become reality. Imagine constantly worrying about losing your job. That fear may cause hesitation, self-doubt, and anxiety. Your confidence decreases, your decision-making suffers, and you may withdraw from opportunities to excel. Without realizing it, your actions start moving you closer to the situation you were trying so hard to avoid. The same pattern can appear in relationships. Fear of rejection or abandonment can create insecurity, suspicion, or excessive attachment. Over time, those behaviors may strain the connection and drive people away. This is not because life is punishing you. It is because fear has quietly influenced your choices. Buddhism often compares the mind to fertile ground. Whatever you plant there receives nourishment. Whether you cultivate fear or cultivate peace, the mind will help it grow. The responsibility lies with the gardener, and that gardener is you. Choosing peace does not mean denying challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means directing your attention toward the present instead of surrendering to fearful projections. Whenever fear arises, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this thought creating calm or is it creating suffering? You possess more influence over your inner experience than you may realize. As your thoughts become healthier and more balanced, your perception of life begins to change as well. Release fear little by little, and you may discover life becoming more open, gentle, and supportive than you ever imagined. Lesson 2. The power hidden in letting go. Modern culture often teaches that strength comes from control. We are encouraged to manage every minute, predict every outcome, and push ourselves harder in pursuit of certainty. The message is clear: hold on tighter. Buddhist wisdom presents a very different perspective. It teaches that true strength is not found in controlling everything. It is found in knowing when to release what cannot be controlled. This is not the same as giving up. It is the willingness to stop carrying the burden of believing that every person, circumstance, and outcome must bend to your expectations. Within Buddhism, surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of trust. It means doing your best, taking responsible action, and then allowing life to unfold without constant interference. Think about trying to hold water in your hand. The harder you squeeze, the faster it escapes. Yet when your hand remains open and relaxed, the water stays much longer. This reflects the essence of surrender, not careless, not passive, but receptive. It is the quiet assurance that says, I have done what I can. Now I will allow life to do its part. When we stop forcing everything, we often recover energy that was being wasted on resistance. Our minds become clearer. Opportunities become visible. Solutions appear where we once saw only obstacles. Sometimes support arrives from unexpected directions. Life begins to feel less like a battle and more like a partnership. Buddhist teachings remind us that surrender is not the end of personal power. It is often the doorway to discovering it. Through letting go, we gain access to a deeper form of freedom, one that no amount of control can provide. Lesson 3. Anxiety lives in the future. Peace lives in the present. One of the most profound insights in Buddhist philosophy is that anxiety depends on the future. It survives through imagined scenarios, anticipated problems, and fears about what might happen next. But the future exists only in thought. Whenever anxiety takes hold, pay attention to where your mind has gone. Chances are it has left the present moment and traveled into an imagined tomorrow. It is creating stories, predicting outcomes, and rehearsing possibilities that have not yet occurred. While your attention is trapped there, you overlook the only place where life is actually happening, right now. This moment is where your life exists. This breath is real. This experience is real. Right here, in this instant, you are breathing. You are present. You are supported by the ground beneath you. You are enough exactly as you are. Buddhism refers to this practice as mindfulness, the simple yet powerful act of returning your awareness to the present moment. Every time you come back to the here and now, you loosen anxiety's hold on your mind. In the present moment, there is no imaginary future chasing you. There are no endless what-if scenarios demanding your attention. There is only this breath, this second, and the quiet unfolding of life itself. The mind may shout with worries and predictions, but the present moment speaks softly. The more often you listen to it, the more you begin to understand that peace is not something waiting for you somewhere in the future. It is something available to you, right here, right now. The peace you're searching for has never been far away. It has always existed within you, hidden beneath the mental noise, waiting for you to reconnect with it. Lesson 4. Most fears exist only in the mind. Many of the worries that consume our thoughts never become reality. One of the most valuable insights from Buddhist wisdom is that much of our suffering comes not from what is happening, but from what we imagine could happen. We spend countless hours anticipating problems, fearing outcomes, and carrying emotional burdens that may never materialize. It's as though we walk through life carrying a heavy bag filled with fears that have no real substance. Why do we do this? Because the mind is incredibly creative. It constantly invents stories about the future, constructing scenarios filled with failure, disappointment, loss, and uncertainty. These stories can feel convincing, but they are still stories. Think back to moments when you worried endlessly about a conversation, an event, or a challenge ahead. How often did reality turn out to be far less frightening than your imagination predicted? In many cases, the problem either resolved itself or never appeared at all. This is one of worry's greatest deceptions. It magnifies possibilities and presents them as certainties. It pulls distant concerns into the present and convinces us to react as though they are already happening. Buddhist teachings remind us that not every thought deserves our trust. A thought may appear in the mind, but that doesn't automatically make it true. The next time anxiety begins pulling you into a spiral of fear, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this something I am experiencing right now, or is it simply a story my mind is creating? Often you'll discover that you've been struggling against imagined dangers rather than actual circumstances. True freedom begins when you stop living inside predictions and return to the present moment. Reality is often kinder than fear would have you believe. When you release the habit of rehearsing worst-case scenarios, life becomes lighter, clearer, and far more peaceful. Excessive control leaves no room for trust. One of the most challenging yet liberating truths is that control and trust cannot fully coexist. The tighter you cling to control, the harder it becomes to have faith in life's unfolding. Many people spend their lives trying to manage every detail, predict every outcome, and eliminate every uncertainty. Beneath that desire for control often lies a deeper fear, the fear that if we loosen our grip, everything will fall apart. But has constant control ever truly brought lasting peace? More often, it creates exhaustion. It fuels anxiety and keeps the mind trapped in a never-ending cycle of planning, worrying, and attempting to manage the uncontrollable. Control can feel comforting, but much of the time it is simply fear wearing a different disguise. Trust, on the other hand, carries a different energy. Trust says, I will do my best, and then I will allow life to unfold. It encourages action without attachment. It allows effort without obsession. Faith is not about sitting back and doing nothing. It is about moving forward while accepting that not every result is yours to determine. Buddhist teachings encourage us to release attachment to specific outcomes. We can act with purpose and dedication while understanding that life has its own timing. Imagine planting a seed. You can provide sunlight, water, and care, but you cannot force the seed to grow overnight. Its development depends on processes happening beneath the surface, beyond your control. Life works much the same way. Ask yourself honestly, are you holding on so tightly that you have forgotten how to trust? Are you trying so hard to force a particular future that you've stopped appreciating the wisdom already present in the journey? Letting go does not mean abandoning your dreams. It means allowing space for life to support you in ways you cannot yet see. And that is where genuine faith begins. Lesson 6. Growth begins the moment you release your grip. Worry rarely announces itself as something harmful. It often disguises itself as responsibility, caution, or preparation. At first, it seems harmless, a little extra planning, a little extra concern, a little extra effort to avoid mistakes. But over time, those habits can slowly reduce the size of your world. You begin lowering your ambitions because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. You hold back your opinions because you're afraid of criticism. You protect yourself from emotional risk because vulnerability feels dangerous. Without realizing it, you start living smaller. The truth is that worry doesn't expand your life. It narrows it. Instead of opening doors, it encourages hesitation. Instead of creating freedom, it builds invisible boundaries around what you believe is possible. Real growth requires something different. It requires the courage to release what you cannot control and focus your energy on what you can, your thoughts, your actions, your character, your choices. Everything else eventually needs to be surrendered. Imagine floating in a river. If you desperately try to grasp and control the water, it slips away. But when you relax and allow yourself to move with the current, the river supports you. This is the power of letting go. Every fear you release creates space for something stronger to emerge. Space for courage, space for creativity, space for confidence, space for joy. Letting go is not weakness. It is expansion. It reconnects you with the present moment, the only place where life can actually be lived. Not in imagined futures, not in endless worries, but here, right now. Take a moment and ask yourself, how much of your energy is spent worrying about things beyond your control? And what might become possible if you redirected that energy toward living, growing, and fully embracing the life in front of you. How much of your daily energy is spent worrying about situations beyond your influence? And what could change if that same energy were invested in growth, creativity, connection, and trust? The moment you stop demanding that life follow your exact plan and begin moving with its natural flow, something remarkable starts to happen. You no longer feel alone in carrying every burden. Instead, you begin to sense the quiet support of something larger, a deeper intelligence woven into life itself. Releasing your grip is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of courage. It takes strength to stop living in fear, and even greater strength to embrace life with openness and faith. Take a deep breath. Feel the pressure begin to ease. Remind yourself that you were never meant to carry every responsibility on your shoulders. Freedom begins the moment you decide to loosen your hold. Lesson 7. Life flows more easily when you stop fighting it. Among the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the understanding that life often works best when we stop trying to manage every detail. The harder we attempt to control everything, the more resistance we create. The tighter we hold on, the more frustration and disorder seem to arise. Yet when we learn to step back, not from indifference, but from trust, something extraordinary unfolds. Life begins to move naturally, guided by a wisdom far greater than our carefully constructed plans. For many people, this idea feels uncomfortable. From childhood, we are taught that control equals security. We learn to believe that if we are not constantly managing, correcting, planning, and overseeing every situation, everything will fall apart. As a result, we overanalyze conversations. We worry about problems that haven't arrived. We chase outcomes before their time. We attempt to control every moving piece, convinced that our constant involvement is what keeps life together. But this habit rarely creates peace. Instead, it drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and leaves us mentally exhausted. We spend enormous effort trying to manage circumstances that were never fully ours to control. Buddhist wisdom offers a different approach, one rooted in trust rather than tension. Just as a river naturally finds its way around obstacles, life also possesses an innate ability to move forward. When fear and excessive control are removed, the path often reveals itself more clearly than we expected. Think about moments in your life when you tried desperately to force an outcome, a relationship, a career opportunity, a major decision. How often did the situation become more difficult the harder you pushed? Now consider the times when you released the need to control everything, took a step back, and allowed events to unfold. Frequently, those situations resolve themselves with surprising ease. This is because worry, overthinking, and constant control act like disturbances in calm water. They create confusion where there could have been clarity. They make the path seem complicated when it may actually be simple. Life functions in a similar way. Trying to control every possibility does not create safety. More often, it creates pressure. It transforms opportunities into burdens and fills the future with unnecessary stress. Sometimes, while forcing one outcome, we unknowingly block something even better that was trying to emerge. So how can you begin practicing this wisdom? Start with awareness. Notice the moments when you're gripping too tightly. Maybe you're repeatedly checking your phone, waiting for a response. Perhaps you're replaying the same decision over and over in your mind. Maybe you're trying to rush a situation that isn't ready to unfold. When you notice these patterns, pause, ask yourself, what would happen if I relaxed my grip? What if I focused on what I can do and allowed the rest to take its natural course? Letting go doesn't mean becoming careless. It doesn't mean abandoning your goals or responsibilities. It simply means recognizing the difference between healthy effort and unhealthy attachment. You take the necessary action. You show up fully. You do your best. Then you allow life room to respond. Imagine planting a seed. You nourish it with water and sunlight, but you don't dig it up every day to check whether it's growing. You trust the process. Growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible above it. The same principle applies to your dreams, relationships, and personal growth. Everything has its own timing. When growth is forced, it is often damaged. When it is supported patiently, it flourishes. Picture holding a butterfly in your hand. If you close your fist tightly because you're afraid it might leave, you risk harming it. But if you hold it gently with an open palm, it may remain or even return after flying away. Life responds in much the same way. Your goals, your relationships, and your inner peace all need room to breathe. The tighter you cling to them, the more fragile they become. The more trust and space you provide, the more naturally they can develop. And when that space is created, a beautiful transformation begins. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. Helpful people enter your life. Timing aligns in ways you could not have predicted. Solutions emerge without force. Gradually, the weight you've been carrying begins to lift. Your mind feels lighter. Your breath becomes deeper. Your heart grows calmer. Eventually, you realize that many of the things you feared would collapse without your constant effort were never yours to force in the first place. At the heart of the need for control is often fear, the fear of failure, rejection, uncertainty, or not being enough. But there is a deeper truth. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to trust yourself, to trust the lessons along the journey, to trust that not everything needs to be figured out today, and to trust that your path can unfold one step at a time. When you release the need to control every outcome, you create space for something far more powerful: peace, clarity, and the quiet confidence that life can support you even when you don't have all the answers. That is where true freedom begins. You were never meant to manage every second of your life. There are moments when your greatest responsibility is simply to show up with sincerity, give your best effort, and allow the rest of the journey to unfold naturally. Take a moment to reflect. Is there an area of your life where you're holding on too tightly? Perhaps it's a conversation you keep replaying over and over. Maybe it's a choice you're trying to force because uncertainty makes you uncomfortable. Or perhaps it's a dream you've become so attached to that you've forgotten how to trust the process. Ask yourself honestly, what would happen if I released some of that pressure? Not because I don't care, not because I'm giving up, but because I trust that not everything needs to be controlled. The moment you loosen your grip, you create room for something new. And within that space, life often begins to reveal possibilities you could not see before. Unexpected opportunities emerge. Meaningful connections appear. Perfectly timed moments seem to arrive out of nowhere. What many people call coincidence starts to feel like alignment. You begin to experience a sense of support that extends beyond your own effort. Life no longer feels like a struggle against the current. Instead, it feels like a partnership with something greater than yourself. Buddhist wisdom gently teaches that our purpose is not to dominate life, but to move in harmony with it. Life is not a problem to solve or a machine to control. It is a living flow. You cannot command the ocean, but you can learn to navigate its waves. You cannot force the tides to obey your wishes, but you can understand their rhythm and move with them instead of against them. Every lesson you've explored throughout this journey points toward the same profound realization. Holding on creates tension. Letting go creates freedom. And often, the things we stop trying to control begin to develop naturally on their own. You do not need a complete map of the future before taking your next step. You do not need every answer before moving forward. All you need is the willingness to take one sincere step. Breathe deeply and release the belief that everything depends on your constant control. Allow today to become the beginning of a gentler relationship with life. Release one fear. Trust one uncertainty. Open yourself to one possibility. Then watch what unfolds. Because when you stop forcing, you become available to receive. When you stop resisting, you become available to grow. And when you stop interfering with every detail, life often responds with unexpected wisdom, support, and grace. Not because life is working against you, but because it has been working with you all along. #conclusion life was never meant to be a battle of control. It is a dance of balance, trust, and presence. The harder we try to dominate every outcome, the easier it becomes to overlook the quiet gifts that arrive when we learn to trust the journey. Buddhist teachings do not ask us to become indifferent or abandon our responsibilities. Instead, they encourage us to care deeply while remaining centered, to act with awareness while releasing attachment, and to move through life with wisdom rather than fear. The invitation is simple. Let go of burdens that were never yours to carry. Release the need to control every result. Create room for life to unfold in its own natural way. As you continue on your path, remember that you do not need to know everything before taking the next step. You do not need to fight every current that crosses your path. Your greatest strength is not found in controlling life. It is found in learning to move with it. Take a slow, deep breath. Trust the timing of your journey. Trust the lessons that are shaping you. Trust that life can support you even when you cannot see the entire road ahead. And know that when you stop trying to control everything, you open the door to greater peace, deeper clarity, and a more meaningful way of living. If this message resonated with you, consider showing your support by giving this video a like. It helps this channel continue sharing these reflections and teachings with others who may need them. For more insights inspired by Buddhist philosophy and timeless wisdom, be sure to subscribe and join this growing community. And if someone in your life is feeling overwhelmed, lost, or exhausted from trying to control every outcome, share this message with them. It may be exactly the reminder they need right now. Before you go, leave a comment and tell us one thing you're ready to release, one situation you're ready to trust, or one area of your life where you're choosing peace over control. Your journey may inspire someone else's. I'd genuinely love to know what resonated with you most. Share your thoughts, experiences, or reflections in the comments below. Your perspective may encourage someone else who is walking a similar path. As we come to the end of this journey together, remember to slow down, stay present, and trust the path unfolding before you. Life doesn't require you to have everything figured out. It simply asks you to keep moving forward with an open heart and a calm mind. Until next time, take care of yourself. Breathe with awareness. Trust the process of your journey and allow yourself to flow with life rather than struggle against it. May you move forward with peace, confidence, and grace. Remember that every moment offers a new opportunity to begin again. No matter how many times you felt lost in worry, overwhelmed by uncertainty, or burdened by the need to control everything, you can always return to the present moment. Each breath is a reminder that life is happening now, not in the fears of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. Be patient with yourself as you practice letting go. Trust is not built overnight, and peace is not something that appears all at once. It grows gradually through small choices made each day, choosing acceptance over resistance, presence over distraction, and faith over fear. With time, these choices become a way of living that brings greater calm, clarity, and inner strength. As you continue your journey, remember that you are stronger than your doubts, and more capable than your fears would have you believe. Life has a remarkable way of guiding those who are willing to trust its unfolding. Keep your heart open, stay grounded in the present, and allow yourself to welcome whatever comes next, with courage, wisdom, and hope.